Well, hey there, it's Jennie Wallach with the Wallach Group in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Today's episode of Agent Success Secrets is a real treat. My friend Sarah Maslowski out of Atlanta, Georgia area. You're specifically in what part of, you're a suburb, right? Right, Sarah?
Yeah, so I'm in the North Metro Atlanta area. I live in Gainesville, Georgia.
That's right. That's right. I know Atlanta is ginormous, so you guys all
Yes.
have your specialties and stuff. But I'm excited to talk with you, Sarah, because you have been on the front end, the cutting edge of really diving into YouTube. Even when you didn't feel so confident in everything you were doing, you've definitely grown into it. And now you're sharing all your knowledge and giving back to our agent community, which you know I love. So why don't you tell
Yes.
everybody who you are, what you do, and then let's get into it.
Yeah, thanks for having me and giving me the platform here to share with your audience. So I've been a licensed real estate agent now for 7 years. Prior to getting into real estate, I was a former teacher. I did not like that job. I was terrified to get into real estate because I felt like, I needed that safety and security of that W-2 paycheck. However, I did not like teaching enough that it gave me a lot of motivation to make this work. And it has been fantastic for me and given me so much joy and fulfillment being a real estate agent. And it was in those first couple of years trying to figure out how to make everything work and how I was going to get people to work with. Kept hearing like, hey, you need to be incorporating video into your marketing strategy. And for me at the time, I was like, okay. And so I would try and put Facebook videos out there and I would put stuff on YouTube and it wasn't working, but you kept hearing, you need video, you need video. And I was like, I am doing video and it's not working. And it wasn't until I came across a group of agents that were having success on YouTube and I saw that they were actually closing business. And I was like, how? I'm putting videos on YouTube. It's not working. And I went and saw what they were doing, and it was just like light bulbs. They were doing something drastically different than what I was doing, which was my videos at the time were listing videos and interviewing local restaurant owners. My favorite Mexican restaurant, that video is still on my page to this day, giving people tips on like how to save money on their property taxes. And when I went and looked at these other agents, real YouTube pages, it was all about what it was like living in their town. What makes it so great? What are the bad things about living in their town? Why would someone choose to live here versus there? And I was like, oh, okay, this is very, very different. They didn't have any listing videos or any how-to tips when it comes to buying or selling. It was all about kind of like giving information that someone that was like moving to the area that was brand new, like what they would need to know. And ever since I came across that strategy in 2020, made the switch and haven't looked back.
I mean, I think that what you shared though, the front end, the first videos you were making, most agents would think these are valuable. I'm promoting my listing for my seller. I'm helping my local community with places to eat and businesses to promote, which I feel like is pretty valuable. But for the purposes that you were going for, which is actually getting leads and producing more, having more business,
Yes,
that was the difference there. So what,
right.
yeah, so how did you kind of get through and create this new play for yourself that was brand new?
It was definitely about learning, from what these other agents were doing. One of the things that I realized, the mistake that I was making, especially for the YouTube platform, is that I was incredibly inconsistent. I would randomly post videos, or I would post 2 weeks in a row and then get busy with things. And then 4 weeks later, I would post a video. And what I learned is that that is kind of like everything not to do on YouTube to be successful. So you have to post a video every single week on YouTube, and you have to be super consistent with it. And the reason that that's so important is that you're teaching that YouTube algorithm that they can trust that you are a content provider, that they can continue to promote your videos because they know you're going to put one out next week. So that was the first like mistake I realized I was making. And then I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to put out a video every single week.
So,
What does that take?
so with that, does it matter when or what day, or is it just within the week?
Yeah. So you're going to pick a day, pick a time that you can stay consistently with for at least 3 months.
Okay.
And it does not matter. Just, it doesn't matter. after those 3 months, we're going to be able to get a little bit more data from the back end of YouTube that will tell you, hey, this is when most of your people are online that are actually watch your content. And then you can adjust the posting schedule as you need to. But I will say, after doing this now for 5 years, when I look at my data, it's like very spread out.
Yeah.
We've made the change one time from a Sunday to a Monday, and it did not really have any dramatic increase in our channel performance. So don't stress out about that because it doesn't really matter. You just have to pick something. And the great
Asking for a
thing,
friend.
yes. And the great thing is that just like, tools on Facebook or Instagram, you can upload something, schedule it to post, and it'll take care of that for you. So you don't actually have to be in front of the computer hitting that publish button every Sunday at 6 o'clock.
With that publish button, is there any value to setting it as a premiere or to come on at a certain time?
That's a good question. Yes and no. I mean, I think it does probably help a little bit with the algorithm on the back end that I think they do send out like an alert to your subscribers that, hey,
Okay.
there's a new video coming up. So yes, it does do that, but it's not like detrimental one way or the other. So posting once a week, and in the very beginning when I was making these videos, another thing that I noticed is that all of those other agents' videos were like 8 minutes long. They were
Mm.
long. The videos so far that I had been posting were 3 and 4 minutes long. And so I realized, okay, that seems a little bit scary. But what I've learned through doing this is that really to answer someone's question or to answer the hypothetical question of what are the 5 things you need to know about living in Gainesville, Georgia, it does take about 8 minutes to get that done.
Yeah.
You want to give them good details, uh, and you want to talk to the camera or the person as if they're your friend, right? As if you were telling someone that's brand new here, you're trying to convince your friend to move to your town. Like, what are the things that you would want to tell them about? And so to do that, it does take about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And now for me, it's funny, like it's a struggle for me to make a short form video because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know how to say this in just 30 seconds. So doing an 8 minute video. And one of the things that really gave me inspiration in the beginning when I saw these other agents that were getting actual closings from this, I thought I was going to go to their channels and just be like blown away by their videos. And honestly, it was kind of underwhelming. So, there were a wide variety of different styles of people making videos, different personalities, different looks, different ways in which they did it. Some of them are quite boring. And that was inspirational to me because what it told me or taught me is that like you don't have to have a ton of confidence on camera. You can be awkward. You don't have to be this super entertaining storyteller in order to get business from this. You just have to do it. And so I was like, okay, if they can do it, so can I.
That's so interesting because isn't that everything? I mean, we
Yes,
always talk about Sarah is just even in your lead generation strategy, pick which style is like you. So it's
right.
giving you permission to be you. And that's exactly what you're saying. Even on the YouTube, your people, your tribe will be attracted to your voice, your message.
Yes. And with that, if you have that fear inside of your head that says, like, I hate being on camera, I don't like the way I sound, don't like the way I look, I'm awkward, don't worry about it. It's okay. I don't know anybody that shows up on video regularly that looks at a video and says, oh my gosh, I love it. I nailed that. We all, I think, Jennie, you've been making videos for a long time. I don't know if you're like me, but if I hear my voice on video, I cringe and I'm like, how can I hit the pause button? I don't want to hear this. Do you
Mute,
feel that way?
mute.
Yes, yes. So that's completely normal. And we just have to like work through it and get over it. That feeling is never going to go away. You're going to get better at
Yeah.
being you on camera, but I don't know that that initial kind of like cringiness ever goes away. We just have to learn how to live with it. So in the very beginning, I'm making these videos. I'm filming them myself on a tripod with my iPhone. And that was something that was gave me a little bit of inspiration in the beginning is that most of these other agents were just filming on their iPhone. And I was like, okay, great. I'm not technologically savvy. I can put my iPhone on a tripod and hit the record button. So that's what I did. And I edited those first couple of videos myself. And that was a big kind of like aha moment that I had for me in the beginning is that, it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm on my couch and I'm editing this video, trying to learn an editing software, trying to make like some title dance across the screen. And I was like, I just want to go to bed. I've got clients to deal with, and like, this is the last thing I want to be doing. And so I was like, oh, Sarah, you're going to have to pay for an editor. Like, you cannot sustain this if we have to put out a video every single week.
Ah.
So I don't like to spend money, or I should say that it's hard for me sometimes to spend money on leverage if I think I can save it by doing it myself. And that was one of the first early times in my business where I was like, okay, we're really going to have to spend the money on this. So I was able to find an editor relatively inexpensive. In hindsight, I laugh about this, but I spent like $400 a month to get my videos edited. And I thought that was like spending big money in my business to get those videos edited. So I will just, straight out the gate tell you, expect that you're going to have to pay for an editor if you're going to implement this strategy, because there's no way that you can do this and run a real estate business at the same time.
Are you finding with the advancement of AI and different tools that there could be some form of a leverage that could happen that way without it being a real person?
Maybe. And, a year from now, that conversation might be different because it feels like things are just coming at us so fast and evolving so much. I will say the biggest way that AI has shown up in changing the way that we make videos is it really does a lot of the heavy lifting on the script planning and the content planning and helping us come up with ideas and catchy titles.
Yeah.
That has been a game changer in, taking what used to take 3 or 4 hours. We can do that in 30 minutes. We
Right.
just, put an idea into Chat GPT. It'll give us a really good 80% done script or outline. You go in and change, put your own voice in there,
Mhm.
and then, you can go out and film. In the beginning, I was very lucky in that I had already had an assistant in my business, and I kind of taught her like, okay, this is what we're doing and I need your help with this. And so for a long time, she is the person that, would do the research and the outline for us, and we would, finalize the script together. Now, technically, AI could be that assistant, for everyone that does exactly what, she spent 4 years of her job, doing for me. So that's a really great piece of leverage now that people have that's essentially free.
That's right. So let's just kind of follow down this AI path. We went to a conference recently, and that
Yeah.
was what we heard from the stage over and over again. But number one thing I took away from it though was that now more than ever, us real estate professionals must be even more real in this new
Yeah.
world of AI. So how are you utilizing AI in the form of marketing and prospecting that you use called YouTube? How are you really plussing that so that you are being recommended by ChatGPT when our clients are online looking us up?
Yeah, that's such a great question. It was great being at the conference and hearing these experts talk. One of their main messages was that you have to be doing video. If you're
Mm.
not doing video, you're falling behind or you already are behind. And I didn't quite understand the power of how AI was pooling its resources for its answers and suggestions. But not only is it, crawling websites and blog posts, but it's also crawling YouTube videos and getting that information. And all of the blog post suggestions that the expert said, like, hey, you should be answering these questions on your website, y'all, all of those were like YouTube videos. They were like YouTube videos that either I've already made or some variation of a title that I already have on my channel. And so for me, I was like, oh, wow, like we are so far ahead because we already have, a ton of this. But how easy or how much of a playbook is it for agents to go out now and do this and make sure that they're showing up on video? And, one of the things that he talked about was not only video, but then you need to also have blog posts on your website. Well, the great thing is that YouTube script or outline that you have of that video topic, that is the blog post. So it's one tool that's kind of pulling double duty that only requires just a little bit of tweaking, or vice versa. If you already have great blogs, you can easily make videos out of those, and using tools like ChatGPT and putting that in and say, okay, now turn this into a blog post for me and format it in the way that will get discovered by AI search engines. I don't know what we're calling them, AI tools, LLMs. So that's really great, and that this one thing that you're doing can serve so many different ways, getting you ranked on Google, getting more traffic to your website, getting more views on your videos, and you're just kind of feel omnipresent just from one overall strategy, which is making videos.
So let's carry this through then, because you have been at it for 5 years. You've kind of done the heavy lifting for so many of us agents. You failed through all of the attempts, and
Yeah.
now you've put together a playbook on success in this area of business. And so what results have you seen, Sarah, that really make you a go-to on this strategy?
So my first 2 years in real estate, I was living in an area where I knew no one, and we'd only been here for about 2 or 3 years. And so when I went to a training class and they told me, oh, it's all about how many conversations you can have and how many people you know, for me, it was a huge, like, oh no, what have I done moment, because my list was tiny. So my first couple of years in real estate was a lot of like hustle and grind of traditional old school ways of getting business, cold calling, circle prospecting, open houses, all of those things that we're taught to do. And I had success. I closed business from it, but I was tired. It was just, it's a lot. It's a lot, like not knowing where that next deal is going to come from and just always having to prospect, 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 prospect.
Mm.
So when I started making videos, I didn't know that it was going to have the impact on my business at the time that it did. But the great thing is that you make this video, you put it out there, you publish it on YouTube, and then YouTube just does its thing, and it finds the people that are most going to connect and value the content. And that algorithm is very powerful at finding the right people to watch that video. And it does take time. So, expect 3 to 6 months to get your first lead or start seeing some traction from this. For me, it was a little bit earlier. It was 6, 7 weeks into making videos and putting them out there. And I think it's important to say that during this time, those videos only had 15, 20 views on them. Like, they
Ah,
were very, very low. I thought, this is not working. What
yeah.
am I doing? Why am I doing this? But it was getting that first phone call and someone saying, hey, we just watched all of your videos. We're thinking about making a move. Do you have time to talk to us? Do I have time? Like, sir, you don't know that you're my first ever phone call. So that gave me a lot of inspiration to keep going and making those videos. And so what has happened over those first 2 years is that my business slowly transitioned from me having to fill my pipeline with leads from traditional ways of open houses, circle prospecting, cold calling, to we now have enough leads coming in from the videos that I don't have to lead generate anymore. My main form of lead generation is making my one video every single week.
Wow.
So now,
That
you know,
feels that feels lighter for some reason.
yes,
But you did
yeah,
all the work on the front end. It wasn't easy breezy.
it's not easy breezy. And it's one of those things, choose your hard. What do you want to be your thing? And for me, I enjoyed the creation process of making a video. There's, for that first full year though, I still felt like I have no clue what I'm doing. And, we're just learning as we go. And still, in some ways it's like that because things are always evolving and changing. But these videos are working for you around the clock. People are watching videos that you made 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Someone's watching a video that you made 6 months ago. And, we're getting tens of thousands of views on our video every single month. And there's no way I would have the budget to pay for that type of advertising to get those eyeballs on this content. And so it's just so amazing that YouTube is doing that for you for free if you just show up consistently and keep putting content out there that people want to watch. So now we just simply, you know, wait for the leads to come in, and it's not necessarily a waiting. We now have a consistent, steady pipeline. And I have to say that, I started doing this at the end of 2020, and since then we've closed over like 130 million in volume directly from YouTube without a paid lead, without any ads. And, you know, 2021, 22 were like booming years for a lot of us in the real estate industry because, things were hot and heavy. I had a little thought in the back of my mind. I'm like, is this only working because of the low interest rates and people are very transitionary right now because of COVID and post working from home and all of that, economic forces that were at play. And I have to say that last year was not a great year in the real estate industry. This year is, a tough year as well. And it is still the main source of business from our closed business. And we're doing better this year than what we did last year. So that has taught me that it doesn't matter what kind of market
Yeah.
the real estate industry is having. This lead strategy works across, markets.
Well, and consistency is the word that you mentioned before. I have a question when it comes to the leads that you receive. Are they always phone calls? Are they emails? Are they messages through social of some kind? Are they all over the place?
So this is something that we've learned through trial and error. And for the first couple of years, yes, it was coming in from anywhere and everywhere. So we had a specific phone number that we would put out there so that we knew that if someone was calling that number, we could have general expectancy that they were a YouTube lead. So that was kind of like the first lesson that I learned. And then we also set up like a separate email address so that we knew that if someone's coming from that, I was dropping people if they were emailing me directly. It was just getting lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And so we did set that up. And people would text, people would, call, they would email, they would find me on Instagram. Some would find me on Zillow and send a message through Zillow. And it's like, when did I ever tell you to call, go find me on Zillow? So the cool thing about that though is that people will reach out, and it was a little bit chaotic because we didn't have a consistent lead flow. I guess maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, we switched to kind of like the call to action in the videos is, hey, there's a link below this video, click on that, and that'll get, you connected with me. And the great thing is that we only gave them one way of directing them. Like, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. And also the side benefit of that is that it has them fill out like a short Google form. And that short Google form has a few qualifying questions, like what's your budget? Where are you looking? What's your time frame? Are you interested in renting? And that helps us categorize and how quickly we need to get them on the schedule for a buyer consult.
Hmm.
So when we were doing it the old way, when we were just randomly answering the phone, you didn't know if you were going to get stuck on the phone with a lead who wasn't planning on moving for 3 years and they want to ask you, all the questions they can Google. And so now that's helped us kind of streamline the business side of it, of being able to serve these leads much more effectively and efficiently in a way that works for us.
Those are really smart and lessons that you had to learn the hard way. And
Yes.
so I
Yeah.
know that you've created a course that is to share with our agent friends on helping us fast track all the lessons that you've already failed through for us. So thank you. So tell
Yes.
everybody about your upcoming class or course that is going to be available for them to purchase and be a part of to learn all of your tips and tricks.
Yeah. So after 5 years, I've learned quite a few things of what to do and what not to do. And also one of the things over the past 5 years, although the leads that you get are relatively the same in terms of working with a buyer or seller, there are some nuances that come with working with these relocation leads. So this course is exactly what I wish I would have had
Yeah.
as a beginning agent getting started with YouTube. It's called Content Clients Closings. It is a 5-week series that starts October the 8th. And it walks you through everything from, how to structure your videos, what to say, how to show up on camera, when to post, how to post, all of the technical details that you need to get started, but then also create compelling content that gets people to actually reach out to you. And then that course also teaches you like how to actually work with that client when you actually get the client, and what are some of those, challenges or unique things that you can go ahead and set up to prepare to work with these clients. One of the benefits, or something that I'm doing a little bit differently in this course, is that after you take those 5 classes that I'm teaching live, so they're going to be recorded, there's going to be a monthly call for the next year after this class is completed to help you with the implementation of putting all of those pieces together. So this is one of those things where you got to have all the pieces to actually go out and start making the videos. But once you start making the videos, inevitably there's going to be things that pop up that we're going to have questions about. So that ongoing support every single month is going to help give you the tools and the resource to help you through those problems. And the course is also going to give you access to recommended and vetted editors. That is a hard thing to find because there's a lot of choices out there. And so you're going to have access to those people that, if you want to go leverage that out, here's some people that I recommend that you talk to.
So really, you're just going to teach us how to do everything that you've done in your business. And what I love most, Sarah, is the follow-up and the accountability. So many of
Yeah.
us will take a class or learn a new thing, and then we get busy with life and we just don't get into action with it. And that is what's truly needed in this method of
Yeah.
promotion. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. Well, any final words that you'd like to share before we get on out of here?
Some of the limiting beliefs that I hear from agents are like, my market's too small. And that's just simply not true. If your market is small, you are probably going to be one of the only few agents that are actually going to show up on video. And if someone's going to do it, it might as well be you to capture, the business that is out there that can come from video. On the flip side, some people will say, I feel like it's too late. There's already agents out there in my market doing this. When I first got started making content, I was one of the only agents in the metro Atlanta area making content. Now there's tons of us. And yet this is still, the main lead source in my business. So there's enough room out there for everybody. And this method can work, and it does work for agents in small markets, big markets, it doesn't matter. So I just encourage you to do it.
I love it. We are definitely going to do it. And I always love learning from you. How can people best follow you, Sarah?
Yes, if you're interested in learning more about the course, you can go to my website, which is YouTube with Sarah, and that's Sarah with an H. And you'll find information about the course there, or you can follow me on Instagram. It's just my name, Sarah Maslowski.
And of course, I'll share your link as well. And I can't
Yes.
wait to see you soon. And I appreciate you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See ya.